Good afternoon. I'm going to abandon my speech and I'm going to make fun of Travis for the next 10 minutes, if you don't mind. I'm 57 years old and I'm trying to figure out the millennial thing, so I think his session would be worthwhile for me to attend to understand feelings and all that kind of stuff. So, I don't get it. My wife, many years ago, ran her hand across the back of my head and she said, "You have an indentation in your head." I said, "That would be my father's college ring." Anyway. We come to these meetings and we try to think, how am I going to grow my agency? How am I going to grow my sales unit? If you want to grow your unit 25, 50, 100%, astronomical numbers, it doesn't take brains. It doesn't take a rich uncle. What it does take is you to get involved. Many years ago, I moved to Boston, 1996. I started with an agency with 40 people, 36 quit in my first 24 months. So I was left with 4 people. Today, I have 1 left of that group. Today, we have 355 advisors. We did over $100 million of GDC, which is combined life and investments, this past year. And we're up 22% or whatever over last year already. So we have a great agency. But that agency did not come from me sitting in a dark room thinking, I'm going to try this and it's going to work. It came from 2 things. One is I've surrounded myself with the best managers and the best specialists in the business. And number 2 is I got invited into what is the GAS study group in the early 2000s. And the GAS study group has been around, I believe, since 1935. And I attribute every one of our good ideas to what I learned in that study group. We take 3 or 4 days out of our year, every year, to meet. We bring our spouses, and we exchange good ideas. What I've developed is a personal board of directors over the year where I can pick up the phone and I can call any one of my study group members and say, have you experienced this? I know when I send an email out that asks a question, I'm going to get 8 or 9 or 10 responses within a day saying, I've done this, it works, or don't do that. I have the best CPA marketing program in the business, I think, but I only learned it from Luis Chiappi. Leadership. If you ever want to learn about leadership, go spend an hour with Jim Meehan. If you want to learn about compassion and leading the right way, spend time with Phil Richards. My sales management development and sales manager infrastructure was not my idea. It came from Bob Fakimi. If I want to laugh and understand the levity that we bring to our business, I hang out with Greg Knudten. And John Langdon taught me about expanding district offices and managing multiple locations in multiple states. And last but not least, Harry Hoopus has taught me more than I can ever imagine that I could ever pay for in this business. Most recently, Harry and I were having dinner, and I'm running an agency trip, and I said, I struggle because we have offices in 6 states. And, where are people going to fly out of, and the time everybody arrives? He said, don't do that. Give everybody a gift certificate to the airline. Let them pick their own plane times and do it. I did it. Everyone came back to me and said, Dave, that was a great idea you had about the plane. I said, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So, Harry, I owe you. At 4 o'clock today, I've made a commitment to expand the industry study groups that are out there now. Many of you in the room might be participating in a company study group, but I have found industry study groups are more on the macro and less on the micro. I've always been part of a company study group. We talk about financing programs. We talk about training programs. We complain about our regional vice presidents. No disrespect to those in the room. But an industry study group brings it to a whole new level. You might talk about your financing program, but there's a lot more strategy involved. And the nice thing is, you go with a small suitcase and you leave with a big suitcase. You leave with tons of information. And then the execution of the things that you learn over time, you can just go back to the people in the group and say, I've tried this, I'm stumbling, how do I do it?